Thank you for all your subscriptions. I have noticed in my analytics that so many more of you are subscribed, and I am so grateful to you. So, thank you for subscribing and watching as a subscriber because that counts. I appreciate you. So, today, this is kind of for the parents of people who have teens that are preparing for college. So, if you have the goal of getting your child into their dream school, a great university to help get them launched on their life, this episode is for you. We're going to be breaking down why the college essay matters way more than you think. If you don't know me by now, my name is Kia. I am a coach, and this podcast exists to help you live your best life possible because you are worthy and you deserve it. And my guest today is going to help you do just that. All of my guests help you do just that. But this one is really special because you're going to learn a lot of stuff. So I hope that you will stay till the end, and it's for you even if your kid hates writing. So my guest today is an extraordinary educator, a spectacular writer, and actually, I think her hidden gift is coaching kids through writing their essays, the kind that get them noticed and accepted into the schools of their dreams and of your dreams, mom and dad or dad. So let me tell you about her. I'm going to read it because she's so awesome. There's so much to tell you. Okay, her name is Carolyn Wynn, and she is a retired English teacher from the Boston area who founded the business The Reluctant Writer in 2018. 7 years later, she and her team have helped thousands of high school and college students from all over the United States and Canada with their college applications, essays, and personal statements for dental, medical, law, optometry, all the schools, all the schools. Okay. So it's not even just university, like specific, like all the schools. If there's a school and your kid needs to write an essay and needs help with their application, this is the person for you. And if you have questions or you never even knew anything about this, she is going to be able to help guide you with that. She has a talent for making the writing process less daunting and even enjoyable. And she fosters trust through one-on-one connections, just like me, and guiding students to craft compelling essays that reflect their passions, strengths, and talents. She also loves being on the beach, just like me. And she hangs with her dog, Zoe, just like me, my two dogs, Elvis Presley and Abigail. So we have also that in common. So before I bring her out, because I know you're dying to know everything in the description, if you read the description of everything you're going to learn, I know you're dying to learn. But before I bring her out, I have to shout out my sponsor. So let me give a shout out to Mental Health Code. You can find out more about them in the description box of this episode, of course. And of course, I'm not selling anything. Surprise, my sponsor just wants me to let you know that they exist. So if you like Instagram like I do, I'm always on there. Get on over there and follow Mental Health Code. They care about your mental health. There's courses, there's all sorts of information. There's stuff that you can get involved with if you choose or not. But just go follow them, tell them Kia sent you, and see what exists for you as options if you want it. So just a PSA. Not selling anything. And thank you, Mental Health Code, for sponsoring this episode and so many of my episodes. And without further ado, shall we bring out Carolyn?
Hi.
Hi.
How
Welcome to
are
Hot
you?
Topics Live. I'm fantastic. How are
Thank
you?
you.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well now that we got the technicalities out, and I want to be able to speak on the camera like you do so comfortably. Thank you for that introduction. It was beautiful.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm so happy to have you here because I have a kid that might decide to go to college. And it's actually my son's girlfriend who lives with me, and she is thinking about going to veterinary school. And
Wow.
so so this is like really important to me. And if it's important to me, I know that there are so many other parents who
Yes.
want to know what to do to help their child have their absolute best chances of getting into the school of their dreams.
Right.
So I'm so excited to hear your story, but I know it doesn't start there. I saw that were an English teacher first. So tell me what led you down this path to helping these children.
I love this question. How did the reluctant writer get going?
Yes.
So, what led me down the path was I taught fifth grade for half of my career. Well, 16 years out of 30, I taught fifth grade. And halfway through, I realized I love teaching writing and reading. And friends were up in the middle school, and it was dawning on me that I've been teaching all subjects as a fifth grade teacher, but my favorite subject is teaching writing and reading. And I got to go, I decided to try for the middle school, teach one lesson that you plan. You don't have to plan math and science. So I knew that was the perfect place for me. So when I got that job, it took a while to get the opening and get my foot in the door there. I got the job in the same system, a grade up to sixth grade English. I went to a workshop with all the sixth grade teachers at that time, and I heard a woman over in the corner named Carol talking about how she helps high school kids with their college app essays. And I went, check, I'm going to do that someday. Just kept it in my mind. My kids at the time were in sixth and fifth grade. I was busy, and it sat for a bit. But during the time that the plan to make it a business, during that time, I started helping my friends' kids with their essays. I helped a colleague's daughter. I have to say, she got into Harvard. You're like,
Oh.
but her essay was amazing. And I can give you a little background on what I look for when I'm helping kids. She was very science minded. She's a doctor now. I helped her with her med school application. So that was the first big one, like Harvard. But I honestly can say her essay was phenomenal. It just needed more of a personal touch because they want to know who you are, not just telling in a like the science minded kids can be not used to talking about themselves. So it started with a few of my friends' kids. And then in 2018, on a snow day in Boston, I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this going. And I put it up on my Facebook page to start. And I texted my daughter and I said, what do you think of the title, The Reluctant Writer? The reason I picked it was because my favorite thing was when I have a student who writes me a note at the end of the year and says, I hated writing and reading until I had you, that reluctant writer, because my passion is because I love reading and writing, I want my students to. And of course, not all of them do. So I adjust to where each one is. If you hate it, I'm going to try to help you write a college app essay where it won't be so painful as we work together. If you love it, that's great. I'm going to encourage that. So through my teaching career, it's just carried over. And that's how it started with one little idea in a teacher's meeting. And then it in 2018, dental students fell in my lap. One dental student came to my attention, texted me and said, can you help me with my personal statement? And I said, okay, what is that? Yes, I can do any kind of narrative. I have confidence in my coaching kids to write. And she's a dentist now. She graduated in 2023, got into BU, all of her other schools. So that was like my little confidence boost. She put my name up on a page. It spread over this Facebook page for dental students that has like 9,000 people on it. So that blew up. So 2021, 22, it all blew up. So I'm half high school students, half mostly dental, just because that's where the word of mouth is. But I've done medical, optometry, a veterinarian. I've worked with physical therapists, PAs. So, but the reason dental, people are like, why did you choose dental? I'm like, nope, I didn't choose dental. Dental chose me. So that's that. Hope that answers your question. Yeah.
Wow. So it just kind of spread. Just how did that first person, or not the first person who went to Harvard, but like the second person that was your confidence booster, how did they find you?
Oh,
Were you already like, had you said, okay, I'm doing this now and I've got everything set up, and people started to find you that way?
actually not. I forgot to leave out that she was my daughter's friend. So I was close to her anyway. The way it spread was the dental admissions test is called the DAT. The DAT boot camp teaches those students how to take that test. So there's a thing called DAT boot camp where
Mhm.
the kids sign up. My kids are 32 and 30. They're young adults where they sign up for the DAT boot camp, and it takes them through the whole process of how to prepare for that test and do well on it. And there's a Facebook DAT boot camp page that has thousands of members on it. And next after Leticia, I met Joanna from Pennsylvania. And Joanna said, I don't have a lot of money, but I can help you get clients. So we had a little deal. I was starting out. I helped her out. She's now a dentist. Then it grew like through word of mouth and from being up on that page. And it grew slow. It grew gradually. But so that was 2018. I took a leap of faith when it started to grow, and I had confidence it was going to keep going in 2019, and I retired early. In 2020, ironically, during COVID, it blew up because I think my name was on that page that had thousands of people. That's what I've gathered from word of mouth. And I think when you go for a person who's going to help you write this important essay, the college app essay, you want them to be someone who treats your child like they're my own child. So I always say to all my clients, and I used to say it to my students, you're like my kids. I'm giving you the advice I would give my own children. Whatever I give for and work with you, whatever I say is I have your best interest at heart. And I had one person a few years ago message me and say, I, I want to work with you on my essay because I heard you care. So I'm a mom, I'm a teacher, and I just love it. Like I hang up the phone, I'm like, who can I talk to say how that session went? And I love when I have a high school student who doesn't like it. I had a high school student a couple weeks ago and he could not think of a topic. And I'm a person that will not give up. So can I jump into this or should I wait on this topic?
No, jump right
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. So that's how it got started. But what the process entails is I have to make the child comfortable, talk to them. I'm very 30 years of connecting with parents and kids. I'm very friendly. I'm comfortable with people. I'm not usually comfortable on camera, but I'm very comfortable with this because it's my passion. Anyway, I'll give you an example. I go through, so for the parents, I'm talking to you. There are 7 prompts for the college app essay. So you can Google college essay prompts and it'll show you. I have them memorized from 7 years. They don't really change. And what I'll do with this, what I did with this young man, and the father had said he can't get a topic, he can't think of anything. So I'm like, okay, I'm ready for this challenge. And he was very quiet, very shy, and we went through every prompt. So what I'll do is I'll say the first prompt is a talent or passion that you have that is so much a part of who you are, you have to write about it. So I'll talk to them about examples of that, or yeah, I just talked to them about here's some things my other students have written that have helped them. For example, my daughter has been a horseback rider her whole life, and she wrote about that in her essay. It's something that is your whole childhood through now, something that's such a part of you. So I went through all the 7 prompts. Nope, can't think of anything. Nope. And I'm getting to the end. I'm thinking, I never fail. So I go into my 30 years of teaching and I think, you know what? I used to ask the kids, one of my favorite essays was write about the most memorable day of your life. And they would go from I got a puppy to I went to Canopy Lake Park for the first time, a trip, they lost someone, it could be anything. So that leaves a lot of options. So I went to that question and I was scrambling because I'm thinking, I went through all 7 and he couldn't think of anything. And with that question, he came up with two things. And I had told him like something from my childhood. So I'll relate to the student. So I'll go to my memory bank and go, well, what would I have written about for one of the best things about my life? And mine was my dad got us a boat. When we were 14, in my mind, we were very middle class and we got this small boat, nothing fancy, but that was like a life changer to me. My dad let me drive that boat on Lake George because you can be 14 and drive a boat. And it gave me this confidence. And when I got in that boat, I felt like a different person. Like really, I felt like people were looking at us like, oh, they're so lucky. I learned how to water ski. So I told them all this. That's how I connect with the student. I find a connection. It's amazing that I can connect with a 17-year-old boy, especially because the girls we connect a little easier. A lot of the boys are totally comfortable too, but the shy ones, I need to find that connection. So I said that. And then he said, I have a couple ideas now. So now we've got two ideas. The first one was, my dad got us a ping pong table when and I remember too, my dad got us a ping pong table. It was a big part of my childhood. And then he said, I have another one. And I say to them, if it's in your mind, it's popping into your head, it's worthy to tell me. So a big part of it is getting them comfortable to share with me. And he said, the day my favorite player got traded to the Lakers. And I'm like, Luka Doncic, my favorite player? What? So I I do the calls over, I do the sessions over a phone call. I heard him light up. I can tell, I listen. And all of a sudden, this little shy young man is like, Luca, and then I get him talking about it. Oh, tell me about that. Now, see, and then there's a lot of parents that think it has to be a certain topic that's going to, I remember his dad saying he's got so many achievements and awards, and it's not necessarily that. It's what is going to light them up when they're writing it that they want to write about it. I don't hang up the phone with a student if they aren't saying, okay, I'm good. I will not hang up until they say, I can do it. And I'll say, so I said to him, do you think you could write about when he got traded, how it impacted you? What did you learn from it? And that one story, that young man wrote a really good rough draft. So I get them the prompt they're comfortable with. We talk about the rough draft. And then once they write me the rough draft, again, the reluctant writer, anyone, they're worried. Is it going to be good enough? No, I don't care what it looks like. I just need the story. Just write it down because the next session, I'm talking to you about, well, how did that impact you? Whatever they give me gives me the information I need to connect and know about them to then ask more questions, get them talking to get more ideas to showcase them in the essay. Ooh, that's how it works.
Okay,
Yeah,
so do you think it's the storytelling, the authenticity, and the vulnerability that make their essays stand out to these universities and schools?
100%. So I always let them talk and we discuss and we make sure it's their voice because I saw something yesterday, a post that said something on a dental page, it's not ethical to have you use a consultant for dental school. That's not a good idea. And I get that because you don't want anyone writing the essay for the child. So yes, that's number one, the authenticity. I look at the flow. Does it flow and is it pleasant and easy to read? But authenticity is number one. And what did that experience do to shape you? And for him, I was wondering what he was going to write about. And I kind of expected him to need some guidance on that. And he wrote about how sometimes you can't control things and you have to handle the things that you can control. You lose your best player and then you follow him over to the lake or whatever it may be. And he really did a good job. And that's the beautiful moment when they get that topic if they're stuck and then they go, okay, I can do that. So yes, the authenticity is number one to me. Does it, and the highlighting. So what does it highlight about you? A lot of kids will write about, for example, I had a young man way back in the day, it was one of my best friend's sons, and he was bullied. And he wrote literally, I said, just write me a draft. He wrote everything that happened to him, but nothing about how it impacted him How did that make you feel? So that's where I step in and say, okay, you've got the story now. I know what happened. They bullied you on the playground every day, and you didn't want to tell, and so on. But they don't understand sometimes that they have to show who they are and how it shaped them, that experience.
Do you think that's the one secret, if there was one secret
Ooh,
you
I love
would
that.
want parents to know about these essays that they're and personal statements that their child is writing? Would you say that's the secret? Or if not, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Thank you.
Um, I would say let the child choose. What I'm talking, I'll speak to high school right now because it's a little different, but let the child choose something they want rather than maybe pressure them to. You got into the National Honor Society and won all these awards. If they don't want to write about that, it's not going to be authentic and they're not going to be happy about it. So that's number one. Like, trust that they can choose. If they need help, you could get a friend or a family member or me to help. But um, the other thing I would say that I repeat all the time to both high school and grad students is you have to write about the experience in a way that shows a quality of you. So with medical and dental, they might say, I've shadowed and I've seen lots of meticulous handwork, and the precision of dentistry fascinates me. And that's fine, but anybody can say that, right? So somebody else could say, the first time I saw a root canal, seeing those tiny tools magically maneuvered by the dentist, whoa, that wowed me. See the difference?
Mhm.
So that would be my number one tip, that it needs that wow that's specific to you, the child or the dental.
So you would say helping them to find their voice, like, to bring their own voice into the topic.
Absolutely. And every paragraph, if you think of it this way too, every paragraph has a purpose. And when I'm even working with people and I get a little lost in my thoughts, like, where am I headed? And I'll go, okay, wait, come back to this paragraph. The purpose of this paragraph is to introduce why I first got interested in dentistry or medicine, or the introduction, why this young man chose Luca being traded as his most memorable. And then in the other paragraphs, each paragraph is part of the story that you're trying to tell. And the story is one that you've chosen that will show who you are. So the choice is pretty important. So if I chose the boat, I would be saying that made me a more confident person, getting up behind a boat and being pulled around. It was exciting. So there's a lot of growth that I had because my dad got a boat. A lot of fun, but a lot of lessons where when someone lets you take the car for the first time, big confidence booster. I got to take the boat as I didn't even have a license because hopefully you're not going to crash into another boat. So it's the experience and what the experience shows the committee about you. And if it's not showing something great, it needs to be strengthened.
So from your perspective, these admissions officers or the committee, what is it that they really value? Is it that uniqueness, that authenticity, like the depth of the experience and basically what you were saying, like how it impacted you and how, I don't know, how you grew from it perhaps?
It's all of that. You just nailed it. It's all of that. I haven't thought of the phrasing depth of the experience. I'm going to use that now. I love that's beautiful. Everything you said, I've those were my thoughts, except for depth of the experience. That's really perfect. But all of that. The other thing is, you said, what are they looking for? The authenticity is there. And that's you have to have that authenticity. And I'll give you an example that came to me maybe 2 years in. When you think about, I've only taught sixth grade. I'm only a sixth grade teacher. Well, I know I'm more than that. And now I'm doing high school essays. But when you get a dental and medical student who wants to go to Harvard to ask you to help, you're like, imposter syndrome. What do I know about that? Right.
Right.
But I just trusted my journey. I just knew I loved this. I think you can probably tell the way I'm talking about. I love it. I love when I reach a student, no matter what the situation, break through a wall, see their excitement when we come up with a sentence that matches exactly what they want to say. So I don't want to forget my point. One client, probably 2 years after I started, I remember he had gone to a conference in Philadelphia. It was a while back. So they had a bunch of dental school admissions people all at a conference, and he flew to go there, and he walked right up to the Harvard admissions person. And he said, can I ask you a question? What do you look for to put an essay in the yes pile? And I was so happy when he told me that that woman said, I want to feel like I know the person better after I read it. I know who they are. So that is another thing that's always in the back of my mind. I read an essay 2 days ago. He threw it into chat. It said all the things you like about dentistry, and I could tell it was chat right away. And it had nothing of what I'm describing and what you are understanding, the depth of the experience. There's none of that in there. I'm on the phone with him today. He's in a hurry to apply. And I'm like, don't apply yet. Let's get, we got to fix that up. So it's definitely, it's that personal side of the person that makes them say, and I could give you dozens of examples of stories that would make them say, wow, this is pretty interesting. And the Luca one I thought was very interesting. And I've never had one like that before, right? So that's unique. Oh, we got a different, this is totally different than the kid who got hurt in hockey and had to come back from a severe injury. On another note to that, I also speak to, for parents, if you're hearing don't write about sports, everybody writes about sports, don't do it. I hear a lot of guidance counselors and other advisors are telling kids that, but I don't necessarily agree with that, because if that's the story that has shaped them, if I've got dozens rolling through my mind. If you're the little boy who sent me a picture of him in the living room with the little hockey net with his little brother with the little stick, and he sent me that picture and he wrote about, I have been playing hockey since I could hold a stick. And that was, and then hockey has shaped who he is. Just like horseback riding, how does that shape a girl, right? So horseback riding is a little more unusual than hockey, but everybody I've worked with who's written about sports is in college or done. So
Wow.
I just, because if you take away that, I'm trying to think of an example, a boy that I worked with who his senior year, he was captain. He goes to the first practice and he tears his ACL and he's done. So even that response right there, you want the response of that. See that response that you, I want to read that, right? So he gets an intro about, I'm psyched for this. And then I wrecked my ACL, I tear it. His essay turned into how he became a leader on the field. He had to accept it, go through the rehab, and turn his efforts to becoming a leader. Why is that not worthy of an essay just because it's about, it doesn't matter to me that it's about sports. It's about how do we show who this student is. He's graduated. His mom was a principal in the town where I taught. And I just saw him. He was overseas. I see them on Facebook. So that's another important thing I want to throw out to parents. Try not to worry. Is it good enough? Is it strong? Is it authentic? Is it interesting? If you read it, would you say, wow, that kid's impressive. That kid's interesting. That kid's thoughtful. That kid's a leader. That's what we want.
Okay, so now that we understand what we really want, what are some of the most common mistakes that you see other than using ChatGPT? Because everyone's gonna know, like everyone's gonna
I
know. Don't do
know.
it.
So For the high school kids, I've pretty much covered the common mistakes that I can think of, and I'll think about it a little bit more as I'm talking. Because if someone's working with me, I set them up to get that out of the way. So, for me, I'm starting with that brainstorm session and getting that child comfortable. And I'll go back to my Luca one because that's fresh in my mind from a couple weeks ago. So for me, the mistake when working with me is worrying about the first draft. Like, just get it written. So even if you're not working with me, just get that draft written. And even if they just spill their words onto the page, just get something written. And don't worry about it being perfect. It's one of my sayings on my page is first drafts don't have to be perfect. They just have to be written. So that's one, being in fear of, what do I write? What do I write? Just try to sit down and tell the story to the admissions committee like you're sitting with them saying, this is the story I want to tell you about my torn ACL my senior year and so on. But the other mistakes I feel are more, see, because I work with them one-on-one after that, that avoids it. But if you're not going to work with a consultant or a coach, I would say if they're stuck, that's tough, right? That's not a mistake. That's tough. So where I'm guiding them through all that, we fix anything together. So I'm not a person who says, I want you to write after the first draft. I'm typically not going to say, okay, I want you to rewrite this entire paragraph for before next time, unless it's really necessary, because most of the work is done through my conversation. I think going back to the choice they make, that's huge. If you don't pick the right topic that feels good to you, it's going to be daunting. It's kind of like when I was teaching and the kids that hated writing typically are the ones that struggle with it. Who wants to write if you struggle with it? I was a basketball player. I could shoot baskets, but I could not hit a softball. Why am I going to play softball if I'm struggling with it? You don't do what you struggle with. So it's not necessarily the mistakes. It's how to choose the right path. And I'm kind of touching upon all of it. And if I switch over to the medical and dental people, the mistakes, and this could apply to the high school as well, is writing and telling them you're a leader, telling them I did this, I volunteered here, I did this. And that does nothing. Like, oh, they volunteered at the smile, make a smile day, or mission of mercy, or at the food shelter, they volunteered. But you have to say what the events did for you. So that's part of it, is choosing the right topic and then getting it written. And if you're not working with a consultant, find someone that if it's not you, because you know how parents will be arguing because the parents are a little stressed, or more than a little stressed, the kid's stressed. Find someone, an aunt. I had someone who worked with an aunt to get the first draft written, and he was just more comfortable with her than he was. But the mom's under pressure. If the mom's under pressure, the dad's under pressure, the kid feels that pressure. So
that's good.
Yeah. So I would say that's it's an expected mistake of the parents. They can't help it. I've stressed out when my son didn't go to school and ended up going a different route. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, you feel the stress of what's my child going to do?
I'm
And
there.
Yes.
My son is going a different route, my oldest. And so I'm in that stress spot right now. What's he going to do? Like, what's he going to decide?
Okay. So it's okay. It's okay. My son came to me. I don't know what year it was. He started DJing at 17 or 16, bought a book,
Ooh.
learned how to DJ, got a job with a big company at 18, went to a small community college, didn't want to go to school, hated high school, totally creative minded videographer, self taught everything, and came to me. I'll never forget it. Now, this is speaking to you directly. He said, Mom, and he looked scared, and we're very close. He said, Mom, I think I want to quit college and just, go after grow the business. He had a company. He's 20. He has his own business. You know what I said? Go for it. Let them follow their passion. If they don't want to go, it was hard because I'm a teacher. My kid's not going to college. I was told to go to college. We all feel that. We can talk about it another time, you and I, because I can give you a lot of feedback on that.
Oh, honey,
Unless,
I'm down.
yeah,
If I'm going through it, there are other people going through it as well. That's the way I always think of it.
right.
And my son had a clear path. He's a black belt. He was gonna do martial arts instruction and all of that. And
Right.
right now, he's just not. He did. He actually was an instructor from the time he was 16, an apprentice, from the time he was 16 to about 18. And then at
Yeah.
18, he just kind of went, okay, now I don't know what I want to do.
Right.
So I'm sort of giving him a window of time to try to figure it out. And he works and it will come to him. But I give him little nudges like you have to decide what you want to do with your future. Here are all these avenues. Maybe you do want to go to college. It's not too late. You can go. Maybe you
Yeah.
do want to go there's a martial arts instructor academy. You can go there. Like, what do you want to do? But you do have to decide at some point. So right now I'm giving him the space to figure it
Yes.
out. Um,
Yes.
and I'm confident that he will. But you know what? If he does decide to go to college, he could write about this on his essay. And
Oh,
that time
yes.
he
Yes. That's his
didn't know what he was
topic.
going to do
Yes.
and
That's his
had to figure
topic.
out how this gap period, I guess. Some kids go to Europe. Mine works at a pizza parlor
That's all
for his,
right. Nothing
his
wrong with that.
his gap year. But it's his time. I'm fine with it. I'm like, it's your time. You're young. You don't have to have anything figured out just yet. Who really knows what they wanted? If you would have asked me at 18, he's 19 now. If you would have
Right.
asked me at 19 years old what I
Right.
was going to be doing as an adult, I would have never in a million years told you I coach people and I have podcasts and I
Right.
do pinup. I would have never told you that because
Right.
had no idea. Do you know what I thought I was going to do? I thought
Right.
I was going to go to college. Well, not at 18. When I was in high school, I thought I was going to go to a university and become a writer. That's what I thought that I was
Wow.
going to do. And I would write books and like maybe be a professor. And that is like
Wow.
what I thought. And maybe have a business on the side. That's what I thought because I always had a passion for being an entrepreneur. Right. And
Love it.
so that is what I thought I was going to do, you know?
Right. Oh my
And
gosh.
and then I still remember, and then I thought I'd always be learning because I'd always be taking more classes, which I do. I take lots of stuff where I'm always learning things. And then, but if you would have asked me if I would have had a podcast and done pinup and been a coach and helped coach people through things, I would have never said that because it didn't exist when I was 18 years old.
Right. I
So the
get it.
things that I am doing with my life that I love, that I'm so passionate about, seeing someone make a transformation because of something I created and helped guide them through
Right.
is the joy of my life. And I love it so much doing these podcasts and getting to connect with people and have these
Yeah.
conversations and share them with people who they might
Love it.
help or might impact in some way is my passion. And so I would have never known that. So I don't worry about my son
Good.
because he's only 19 and he will
Yes.
figure it out. We're not cookie cutters. Like even though I ultimately went to the military before I went to college and got my
Oh, wow.
degrees, right?
Okay.
And in the military, conformity is key, right?
Right.
But out in the world, we don't need to conform. We need to have individualization and self-expression.
Right.
So I think we all have our own journey to go down,
Yeah.
and the path, is laid out from your choices. Some of them good, some of them bad, but there are really no mistakes because there's only lessons, and you learn and you grow
Ooh.
from them. And I think, when the teens and then the young adults are going into their university and they have chosen that path for themselves and they're creating these essays, a lot of that, the things that help them grow, the things that impacted their life, the things that, really come from their heart. I think
Mm-hmm.
from what I'm understanding of what you've been saying, are
Mm-hmm.
important things to highlight in their essays and what will make them
Right.
stand out. So,
Right.
and that brings me to another question I have for you, actually.
Sure.
Since I do a lot of mindset coaching, and I think perception in your perspective is really
Yes.
important.
Huge. Mm-hmm.
And I know that you're you're the founder of the Reluctant Writer, right? So
Yes.
what mindset shifts do students need to go from being the reluctant writer to actually creating this amazing essay that will get them into the school of their dreams?
So how to take a student through my sessions to from reluctant to not mind. I say not minding it so much, or almost liking it, because we don't want to be over overachieving and thinking they'll love it. So that's a great question. So I feel like because I taught for so long and encourage, I'm a nurturer, I'm a mom to I'm the mom that every kid came over to my house. I bet you are too.
Thank you.
I feel like, to be honest, it's tough in 4 or 5 sessions to take a reluctant writer and make them be like, I like writing now. It can happen. I've heard people say, "Oh, I didn't realize I was this good at writing." Like some kids write and they don't have that the confidence. And then I'll read it and I'll say, "This is a really good first draft, but we're going to work on it to give it that wow factor." For me, it's that self-doubt in everything. Do we look good enough? Do we write well enough? Do we run fast enough? So it's it's the mindset of whatever I write is good enough. What who I am is, it's the same big universal. They think they don't like writing typically, as I said before, because they're not good at it. So I start with, what can I compliment them about? Like it's about encouraging them. So I feel like in some senses, when they're that young, they need you to say, well, this is really good. Oh, this is I used to do, whoa, I'd read an essay and this is my favorite sentence of this whole essay. This sentence is amazing. And just, I always say, I'm not criticizing your writing. I'm being honest in what I know from experience. We want to add and polish it up, dental pun there. So to get them from reluctant to not reluctant is, to change their mindset. It's got to be almost like they've got to buy into it. And so I spend time talking about that kind of thing, the mindset of, if you think negatively, you won't be able to write. You're just think, I'm just going to write. And so it goes back to, I'm just going to write this for Carolyn. Take off that pressure. I'm just going to write it for her. There are medical, I'm like, at first I was intimidated. What do I know about med students and dental students, right? But there are highly intelligent med students who, when I'm reading their essays, they tell me they're nervous that I'm going to read it and I'm going to judge it. So it's taking that judgment off. And that's number one with no matter who I work with. And on my page, stress-free college app essays, stress-free personal statements. I never liked being stressed out. And that's how I ran my life. I didn't want anyone around me to be stressed out. So I don't know if I have the answer to how to get them to like it in it's almost like a blanket of experiences of, can we flip the light switch to get them to go, okay, I'm not so bad. I see it from the teacher point of view that the parent and the teacher needs to say, look at the writing and pull out something good. You got to build that self-esteem. And that's where it's cool that I'm doing this now. And you think sixth grade to grad students who are going to med school, they don't need confidence. It flows right into it. Everybody wants that confidence built. So I don't know that I have the answer of how to get them to do the mindset, other than we all have to help them and talk to them. And with my own kids, this is a funny story. I'm big on mindset, and I drive them crazy because my thing is, oh, this is fun that I get to tell this story because it does apply. My thing is, I read The Universe Has Your Back. That's where it started. Just trust the universe. And then it brought me to Ask and It Is Given, where one of the quotes is, everything is always working out for you. Everything's always
Love
working out
that.
for me. Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
So I guess I'm telling you a way that I am trying to get my kids' mindset to switch just on relax. Everything's going to work out. Even the parents right now who are listening, it's going to work out the way it's supposed to. It's going to
The
work
flow
out.
of life.
Yeah. So I do talk to my students about that. So when I'm working with a client, I'm imparting that mom knowledge or mindset so it's imparting that mindset to them all the time. But anyway, so I went to see that author, Abraham Hicks, the one of the book of my
Mhm.
favorite. And I will literally be worried about something and I'll go to, wait a minute, everything's always working out for me. And the number of times that's worked out for me when I say that is unbelievable. Even yesterday, I wrote a whole post about it, something, excuse me, happening. So I would say to my kids, I always get a parking spot. I went with a friend to Boston, and he pulled into near Newbury Street on a Red Sox day, 1:00 Sunday game. We're never getting a parking spot. And I'm like, look right there. I always get a parking spot. Car pulls out. We pull. It happens to me all the time.
I love that.
So I am always doing that. And my kids are like, Mom, but it's starting to get into their mind. My daughter more than my son. But so when my daughter wrote on my birthday card a year ago, everything's always working out for you, I got a tattoo of her writing on my arm. And I never thought I'd get a tattoo. I'm older, and this has come up recently because I'm going through a difficult time. And whatever it is, everything's going to work out. You have to breathe, because people tend to go to the negative. I'm going to the doctor, and I've done this with friends. I'm going to the doctor. Oh my God, what if I have this? Oh, I went to the doctor for something I was worried about. And I thought, what if or the other one I love, what if it works out better than you ever expected? What if it works out better than you ever imagined? And I got up to go to Boston for a second opinion about something scary. And I thought, what's the best thing? I won't have to have surgery. That's the best thing. Maybe that'll happen. I walked in there, and the doctor comes in with a smile. She goes, you're fine. We read the pathology from the primary care. We are not seeing that. It's Mass General. Who am I going to trust? You're fine. Come back in 6 months. It worked out better than I thought I had made up in my own mind. So all those mindset pieces, I feel like it's so hard to switch it. And I guess I turn to my kids because I'm still working on it. But I also believe in signs in the universe. I'm a big believer in hearts everywhere. Hearts out a leaf. I have thousands of heart pictures, and my daughter now sends me heart pictures, even though they laugh at me when I stop and take the pictures. You know, so if you stress, it's not going to help anything, and I get it. I stressed over my kids many times, but if you can just I also know that when that kid doesn't want to write, and then there's the battle between my friend Erica and Tommy, Tommy just graduated from college. He went to ECU, played baseball. I got a message from her, help me. My son and I are going to kill each other. We're so mad, like that kind of thing. You have to get someone else in, even if it's not a paid person. Let it go. And who can they talk to that won't stress you out, because we're stressing them out. So it's all about, it's so hard though, right? The mindset piece.
It is, but I love everything that you said, and I love Abraham Hicks, and I'm down the rabbit hole in all of these things,
Right.
Because I do think it is so important, and has served me so well in my own life, is that, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right, like that the thoughts create. That mindset is so important. My kids, I always joke and say my kids are going to be the most negative kids there is, because your kids will like try to go the opposite way of your parents. And I'm like this internally.
Yes.
I wouldn't say I'm not a toxically positive person, because I think I don't know if that really even exists. Maybe it's when someone refuses to be upset about anything, I guess, that they're not honoring their own emotions. But I think being positive it's a work, it's like a practice. It's like yoga or working out or writing, getting better at writing, right?
Yes.
It is a practice, something that you do. Like you said, I'm still working at it. You're always going to be working at it, because things are going to happen that are going to, we're predisposed to be negative. Back in our, I don't know, ancestor caveman days, it kept us safe, right? So, and our primary objective is to be safe. That's how we all feel best, is when we feel safe. So it is a lot of work to tell yourself these things. So interesting story. Just, I always wonder why my guests come to me, because I think who's meant to be with me comes to me. And so this conversation we just had about you going to the doctor, it reminded me, this has happened to me twice in my life now. So twice. This last summer, and then I think 3 years ago, I went to the doctor and I was told I had cancer.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah, I was told I had cancer. And I said, in fact, the first time, the second story is not, it was scary because it was breast cancer, but it wasn't. It didn't end up being breast cancer. But the first story, and I got through the second time that this happened to me, because of the first time. So I'm going to tell you that story quickly. Okay.
Love it. Take your time.
Story time.
I love it. I do story time. Yeah.
I actually had a new boyfriend, and not new, but we'd been together for a while, and obviously it got intimate, right? And sometime after that, I thought to myself, I am in pain. Something is wrong. Like, something is wrong. I am in pain. And I need to go to the emergency room because the pain is significant. And so I went to the emergency room, and they did some testing, and they came in and they gave me morphine. And I was like, well, that seems serious. Like, why would you just give me morphine? Every doctor's office and hospital everywhere thinks everyone's an opioid addict.
Yes.
So try not to give you, and I know I'm in pain, but that seems excessive. So this is my thought process. So I'm like, I wonder what's going on. So then the doctor comes back. She was like this really cute young lady. And she said to me, I'm so sorry to tell you this. She's like, but there's nothing else that we can do for you here. You're going to need to go and see your primary care physician. You have a tumor. It's very bad, and it's very big, and it's an emergency. You should leave here and go straight to your primary care physician. And then she showed me this image of a giant, and I'm like, I was already dissociating by then. Okay. I was completely disassociated. I was like floating above my body.
Oh yeah, life is I know it is over.
And I just was like, so for a moment, okay, I would say for about a good 2 minutes, as she's talking, but nothing for a second, and I'm trying to hear what she's saying, because the first thing I'm thinking about is I have kids, my kids, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm relatively young, okay? So I did just have a 50th birthday.
Ah,
But still, this was a few years ago.
yes.
So it was like, oh my God. And then I sat there, like she left the room, and I was like, no, no, I do not have cancer.
Good for you.
No,
No.
this is not the timeline I'm on.
Wow.
I don't have cancer. I have fibroids. I've had cysts on my ovaries before. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is. I'm like, I'm not doing that. No. Because I remember Dr. Joe Dispenza. And if you don't know who this is, you have to Google it and you have to look at his work. But he is so much as you believe. So there's a faith element to this, right? So much as you believe.
Right.
So I went immediately to my primary care physician. And then I immediately, told her everything about it. And then she was like, no, I'm sure you're right. You have fibroids. And then they sent the imaging. And then she was like, well, let's get you hurried like over to the female health, department and like get you in there right sooner than later though, because this image, it looks pretty bad. So they'll know though. So I went through this process. It was about 3 months in total, getting all the imaging and getting all the work done. And of course, it turned out that I had fibroids, bad ones. I had to get a hysterectomy. But my point was, it was not cancer.
No, it's not. I love it.
So I completely identified with your story and how mindset is super important. And I'm not saying like, if you've already been diagnosed with cancer, one of my dear friends is that he could just say, oh, suddenly I don't have the cancer or anything like that. But even in that scenario, mindset is going to be very important for longevity.
Absolutely.
Right? He made the decision that he was not going to die in those months that they told him he was going to die. So and I'm determined that he's going to live even longer. He's going to surprise all of us.
Good.
Yes. So my ex-husband's cousin, she's one of my favorites of all of his cousins, got diagnosed a year ago. The first thing I did to her was I wrote to her as soon as I saw her say it on Instagram. And I said, you're going to beat it. You need to have this mindset no matter what happens. And we talked through it. We did some intentions. We did some affirmations. She beat it. She's in remission, right? So, I mean, I do believe the mindset work is critical. And how this relates, because we just went on a little tangent.
Yeah.
How this relates to our essay that they walk away loving writing. But confidence boost, that mindset shift of I can do this, I did this, and look, I now got into the college of my dreams because I did that. That's the mindset shift, right? That's the shift of I went from I don't want to do this, I'm really intimidated, I'm really scared, to I did this. I did it.
Absolutely.
And what a confidence boost that is for lots of things going forward. That could be their next essay.
Right? Yes. I love that's amazing. I love when the parents say, I can't believe I have one in my mind. She texted me and said, I can't believe how excited she is to write now. Like that's my biggest thing is when they're excited to write and they were dreading it. But yes, oh my gosh, those stories are amazing.
So I guess I have maybe one last question for you. And that is about editing, right? So should we be cautious about editing our essays? Can they be over-edit? Or I know that you probably work with your clients through that process, so they don't have to worry about that. But if we can't afford to hire a consultant, or if we just don't have someone that's helping us, what would be a tip you would say about editing? And I'm going to spotlight you. So
What?
I'm going to spotlight you. So I'm going to jump off the benefit of your knowledge about this and anything else you think is important that we should know about these essays.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I have so many things. Okay. So the question was editing. The basic, and I go back all the time to sixth grade, teaching writing in sixth grade. And I would say one of the things, if you don't have someone to work with that's going to edit as you help the student, you want to first read the essay out loud. Have your student, have your child read it out loud. I used to say this to my students. They'd write their essay and bring it up to me, and I'd say, go back and whisper it to yourself because you'll catch things that way. I also heard, can you over edit? I've never had that question before. I don't think you can over edit. It's more about when you read it, what I would keep in mind are, let me come up with 3 or 4 things that I look for when we're done. So let's look at, and speaking to either group. 1, when you read it out loud, do everything you can to make sure that you catch any mistakes. And by reading it out loud, you will catch things. You can also read it backwards to check for, although you have spell, to catch things. As far as editing, other than the grammar and mechanics of writing, you want to make sure it has the introduction, which is the start. Typically chronological, doesn't have to be, but the start of what you're going to be talking about. And I can give you a few examples that are just to spark some ideas. One might be, I had one girl who actually wrote about how shy she was in high school. She didn't fit in. And then she got a YouTube view of one of the groups. It wasn't Kiss. It was one of the 1970s rock groups. And Motley Crue. So she became a different person because of Motley Crue. So let's take an essay like that, unusual topic. And she wrote about how she was blending in with the crowd, shy and unnoticed. But by seeing this band and becoming interested in this band, her confidence started to build up because they looked so cool. And she started to dress the way she wanted to dress, be who she truly was. And then you want to think about, what's the storyline that I want to tell? And in that circumstance, what happened next that led you along that journey to choose this as your topic. And what happened with her was she started to gain more confidence. That happened. But then in the end, she had kind of a distant relationship with her dad. And because he also loved the band, they connected on that. And when Motley Crue came to a state that was like an 8-hour drive from them, they went to the concert together. So if you hear me talking about that and hear the authenticity in that, I focus more on the story itself. And you can do Grammarly to check the edits of mechanics, punctuation, and all that. I'm focused on, does the story flow? And when you read it out loud, how does it sound? So hearing it out loud, reading it to someone you're comfortable reading it to out loud, that will help. One other idea that's popping into my head that could help, it doesn't talk about editing, but the brainstorming. If you're not working with someone, have them talk to you about the story. So if they're talking about they tore their ACL and well, how do I start? Mom or dad, what do I start with? And say, well, tell me what happened. And then have them tell the story to you in full, the whole thing and what they learned, they think they learned from it. In teaching, this is called turn and talk. So you tell the kids, turn and talk to your neighbor about the story of how you first got your puppy or how Luka Doncic got traded and you were devastated. So it's a lot of interaction with others to get your child talking about the topic, the editing. Don't be afraid to share the essay with other people, to feel it's really about the flow, and is it enjoyable to read? And like the Harvard admissions person said, do I feel like I know who your child is by reading this? And I'm getting another memory of a kid who played hockey, and he was a small statured kid. I had him in 6th grade, and I worked with him when he became a senior in high school. Never did I know that he hated that he was smaller than everybody else. I didn't know any of this, but now he's 17. My dog's making noises. Come here, Lo. And he's writing about how hard it was to have to quit hockey when they started checking, because he was so small stature that he would have been injured. And then it turned to how he went into golfing, and he became the captain of the golf team, and how he transitioned. So like a life experience that is an obstacle or creates transformation. Again, not about editing as much. I look more at, what does this essay show the committee about my child that will make them say, we want them on my campus? What do you think?
Can you hear me?
I'm not hearing you.
No, you
Come
don't
back
hear
to
me?
me.
Uh-oh. Let me see what happened here. 1 second. Okay. Can you hear me? You hear me? No. Okay, 1 sec.
I wasn't able to hear you. I'm not sure if you can hear me. I don't know why I lost the audio.
Can
Oh,
you
there
hear
you
me?
are. You're back.
Okay. I think it was me. There was like a
Oh, okay.
little issue with my mic at the
Oh,
moment.
okay.
But if we're
No
live,
worries.
and that's what happens. So
That's right.
I'm back. So I love the story about the kid who went from hockey to golf and became like, that is such a charming story. And I can see why admissions counselors would feel connected to a student like that and want to
Yes.
bring them in to their school. So that is amazing. And I really think that it's so helpful, all of the tips that you gave today. I really
Good.
feel that it is preparing a teen or a young adult who's going into their graduate studies with the perfect narrative. And it shows how
Narrative.
that perfect narrative can open the doors that they're trying to open to go
Exactly.
down the path in life that they really want. So I loved this episode, and I loved the opportunity to connect with you. I guess I have one more question for you before we
Sure.
wrap it up, and that is, if I have a child who is interested in working with someone for their essays, how do we connect with you?
So I have a Facebook page, The Reluctant Writer. I have the Instagram that I think you have. I have a TikTok. I don't have a website because I got so busy that people would say, "Where's your website?" And
Oh,
I'm in the process of that. I mean, I could give you rattle off my number, but if you Google The Reluctant Writer Facebook, it's gonna come up as me. Is that enough?
we'll put this one here, and then I will put the contact information in the description of this episode.
Great.
And yeah, I think we can go from there. So if anyone is interested in working with you, which I think that they definitely should be by
Thank you.
after hearing all of this, then they can connect with you that
I
way
love it.
and follow along with your journey. So I
Great.
just want to say thank you so much for being a guest on Hot Topics Live podcast. I really hope that everyone got a lot of benefit from this episode, and I really appreciate your time and hearing your story.
And I appreciate you. I loved getting to connect through our mindset similarities. And one last thing, Gary V, Gary V,
Gary
and
Vee.
Do you know who he is?
Of course.
Okay, for your son, because that's what he says. You do not know what you want to do at 19. So
It's true. He does.
that's what and Gary Vee actually had an impact on me, because when I was taking you talked about the pressures, I forget, it wasn't pressures of society, but I retired early, where you retire early, you're giving up a little bit because you don't stay long enough for a bigger pension, right? But I wanted this, and it worked out. But what I was going to say was Gary Vee was offering like the advice, and this could be for your son as well as me. I was in my 50s, right? When I started it, it's not too late to do what you love in your 50s. And I did what I loved for 30 years, and then it was getting a little unlovable. And I love the kids still. But the thing is, Gary Vee was the one who said, put some free stuff out. Like, if you love it, just offer it. Like, I do free brainstorm sessions for college, pre-dental and pre-med schools. Some people say, you should charge for that. I'm like, I just want to reach as many people as I can, because I love feeling like I made a difference, right? And this has been so enjoyable because you're also so comfortable to talk to. But I think that Gary Vee, I know my son got a lot from him, because the difference between your son and my son a little bit is he discovered his passion for music as a little hip hop dancer in 6th grade, which led to, I want to make my own beats when he was 14. Let's get a book, and then let's learn how to DJ. And then, oh, I'm bored. I've done that. So I want to just jump back to your son. What lights his soul up? What lights him up? And
Martial
then,
arts.
yeah. So, and then is he afraid of is there any fear in there? If that's what lights him up, that's my thing. I'd say to people, find out what lights you up and then make that your job. That's what Gary Vee says too. But is it easy at 19? No, my daughter is 30. She's not there yet. Hasn't figured it out. She works, great job. She's doing great, but I still feel like she'll end up with horses somehow.
Probably. But sometimes life is a journey, right?
Exactly.
And there's time. If you're lucky, you have lots of time to figure it out and make change and reinvent. I mean, this is like my 4th encore career.
I love it.
I'm also retired and a disabled vet. And I do what I can do that I love doing. And I have had so many sort of reinventions along my journey from when I started out in the Navy. And so you're never too old. You're never too young to start doing what you love doing, to find what you love doing. And if you don't know, you have time. Just try. I always tell my son how he landed in karate was we tried everything. We tried sports. We tried music. We tried everything. Okay. And until he found something he loved. And everyone would say, why do you always, take him out of stuff or let him drop something? And I said, because he's not passionate about it. And I'm not going to waste my money on stuff that he's not passionate about.
Right.
So if he's passionate about something, he'll stick with it. And you'll see that. He was a black belt at 17.
Wow.
That's
amazing.
The thing he's been passionate about his whole life is martial arts. He's on a break from it, but I think, like your daughter, he'll find his way back to it at some point.
He will.
I don't worry about it. He's a
Thank
good
you.
kid.
Yes, I can tell. You're wonderful. I'm so happy that I saw your post about being on your podcast. This has been wonderful. Thank you.
I'm so glad.
So nice.
So glad. I mean, I think that it's important, to connect with people. And I love hearing stories and I love people. So, this is my passion. And and something also that I'm good at.
You are good at it. Your passion is calling you and you're where you're supposed to be. Clearly.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate that. And I
You're
just
welcome.
love having this time with you today.
Me too.
It's such a pleasure.
Thank you, Kia. Yay. Let's stay in touch.
For sure. So I'm going to wrap up the show. My battery's low, so I'm going to wrap it up. But I'm going to put you in the green room and I will catch up with you as soon as I'm done closing out the show, unless you have to go.
I'll be here.
All right. See you in a minute.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Isn't she a doll? I think she was just wonderful. Okay. So, if you've made it to this part of the show, it's time that I do something for you, for being here, for giving your time to me. And before I do that, remember, you can follow me on everything pretty much. I have two podcasts by now. I'm doing coaching. I'm creating something right now. So if you would like the opportunity to work with me and experience my type of nurturing and loving support through coaching and have an actual transformation, I'm creating something right now. It's a 6-week program. It is called Self-Sabotage Alchemy. So if you're one of those people that have a habit of being in your own way, this is for you. The first group is going to be at a discounted rate because I would like testimonials. So if you're interested in that, the information is in the description box. If you like pinup, you like classy pictures, this is me. These are my 2 covers. This is me. Okay. You can follow my pinup journey on @Creativity. It's right there. That's my personal Instagram account where I do all my pinup stuff. You can see behind the scenes of my stories and like the other things I'm getting into day by day in my stories. So follow those. Otherwise, definitely support that. Follow all of these places. And if you just want bite-sized versions of Hot Topics Live podcast, definitely be on Hot Topics Live podcast on Instagram, where all of the reels are. And if you have loved this episode, or if there was something more you wanted to learn from this episode, definitely drop a comment. I read my comments. I answer my comments. Thank you for your subscriptions. I love you guys so very much for just coming on this journey with me and watching these episodes and tuning in live. Remember, if you're live, you can drop a comment. Don't be shy. I'll put it up on the screen. You can be part of the show. And definitely, participate. So, I almost forgot to tell you what I'm doing right now is a little cards for you. Okay. So it's just, these are called Soul Truth Self-Awareness cards. They're by Brianne Hovey. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle up these cards and one is going to fly out at random. So take a breath with me. Sometimes I like to put my hand over my heart and just go into my body a little bit and think about whatever your higher power is, God, Buddha, Allah, I don't know, the universe. This is an inclusive space, a safe space. And just focusing on that energy, because it is energy. A message will fly out of this deck, and that message will be for you as my thank you to you for watching, and a message to guide you on your journey and help you in some way so that you can live your best life possible, because you are worthy and you are deserving and you are enough. So with that said, let's see what messages come out for you, or message comes for you. Ooh. Okay, we're going to take this one because the other one fell on the floor and I can't reach it. So it's, am I willing? It says, you are on the edge of something great. Can you feel it? Yes, there is risk, uncertainty, and imperfections ahead. Failure is certain, and vulnerability is a requirement. You must be brave and trust yourself more than ever before. You will reach the dream, but you must stretch yourself into a whole new level of belief and willingness in order to move forward with courage. Today's soul action: be brave. Follow your heart's compass and lift the lid on your own dreams. Today's mantra: it's possible. It's possible for you, my love. Okay. And if you're meeting resistance, then go to the description box, scroll down, find the section where I'm talking about my new course, and reach out to me via Instagram on Hot Topics Podcast, Hot Topics Live Podcast, or @Creativity. Send me a DM. It will go into my general mailbox, so it might take me a minute to find you. Once I do, I will personally respond to you regarding that course to get you the application, because it's by application only. I'm only taking up to 12 people. So, thank you for watching. I'll be back with an episode of Dating After Divorce. I know, I keep saying that, but I've been extra tired lately, you guys. I've been dealing with the flu and recovering from that and all of that. So, bear with me. I have another episode, I have an announcement to make on it, and some tea, and it's coming soon. So, set your notifications so you know when I come live. I love you. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you next time.